The next step in this build was to attach the back. I'm using a pencil as a reference for when I do the sanding of the final radius into the kerfing. As I mentioned in the installing the kerfing video, I eyeballed the cut the first time, and that bit of overconfidence led to a lot of sanding on the radius dish. I have it time-lapsed here. I actually spent time over 2 days to do this to get the radius where it needed to be. With the proper radius in place, now I'm going back and marking areas where I need to make notches in the kerfing so that the bracing for the back fits flush to the sides of the guitar. By marking the inside and the outside location, I can now use a straight edge to connect those lines. The reason why I needed to mark both the inside and the outside is that the braces don't intersect with the sides at a 90-degree angle. And so to make sure that I get that diagonal correct, I marked the inside and the outside and then, cut along that line. To actually cut the notch out, I'm using my $2 Japanese pull saw from Harbor Freight. I don't need to be too precise here in terms of the depth. I probably went somewhere between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch. It just needs to be enough so that the bracing can fit in there. Eventually I'm going to go back and bind this guitar, and that binding will cover that whole area. Some quick work with a chisel connects the two saw lines and makes the notch that I need for the bracing. As I have for the other parts of this build, I use a tight bond and a clean finger to spread the glue around. With the notches that I cut out before, it's a pretty easy exercise to line up the back and start attaching it to the kerfing. Here I'm taking some homemade spool clamps that I made, and I'll just put them equally around the guitar to make sure that there's enough clamping pressure all the way around. It's a bit of a poor angle here, but I'm going around and cleaning up any glue drips that I have. We're starting to get to the point where I really need to be a lot cleaner about my work so that it doesn't look terrible as a finished product. I left the spool clamps on overnight, and then I trimmed off the excess with a flush trim bit using my router table. Now with the back in place, I can start to focus on the soundboard. Thanks for watching.